President Macron, Mrs. Macron, Prime Minister, my lords, ladies and gentlemen, it's a pleasure to welcome you to Parliament. The historical ties between our countries are long and deep. Indeed, they are embedded in the language we use here in both houses. To start with, the word for our assembly, a parliament. Every day I work with a document called the dossier. And as legislation is passed between the houses, it is still endorsed in Norman French. Our shared history goes back now over 900 years, but the Entente Cordiale began relatively recently, 120 years ago. Since then, our states have had a broad and deep partnership, working together on European and global security. Together with peaceful ties, we have cooperated on defence in the past. We have fought side by side with France in the First World War. In every town and every village, our memorials remember those who went to war and did not return. From across the country, units like those in my own constituency of Chorley, the Chorley Pals, who fought on the Somme, went and did what had to be done. And again, in the Second World War, we were proud to form a base for the French government in exile. The beginning of the end of the war came on the beaches of Normandy. In 1944, Speaker Clifton Brown led a parliamentary delegation to visit Allied troops on the front line in Normandy. And France has never forgotten how we fought together. In 2018, I was honoured to be the ceremony in Chorley, where several of my constituents received France's highest honour, the National Order, the Legion of Honour, for their part in the liberation of France. In this year, the 80th anniversaries of victory in Europe and victory over Japan, we will remember them. Our defence and cooperation continues and is more vital than ever. 15 years ago, on the 2nd of November 2010, the Lancaster House Treaties were signed. Britain and France undertook to build a long-term partnership in defence and security. Fast forward to 2025, and last month I met President Zelensky again here in Parliament, a man who we are proud to call our friend. As Europe continues to be under threat once more, I salute your efforts, Mr. President, to work with our country to build a coalition of the willing, ready to play their part in ensuring Ukraine's future security. Defence remains a key consideration, but our ties are not just defence-related, of course. They're also parliamentary ties. In March 1939, the first ever foreign dignitary to address both houses was French President Albert Lebrun. He began a long-term and welcome tradition of engagement between French and UK politicians. Indeed, just a few weeks ago, I hosted my counterpart, Speaker Yael Pivet, following a fruitful discussions at the G7 Speakers Conference. There has always been strong parliamentary cooperation. Over 100 years ago, our countries were founding the members of the Inter-Parliamentary Union, a body promoting peace, democracy for everyone through parliamentary diplomacy and dialogue. And then, of course, there are our sporting connections. Like you, Mr. President, I am a big sports fan. When people think of French sport, they often think of cycling, rugby union, fencing, or football. My own team, Bolton Wanderers, had a fantastic French player, Yuri Djorkov, when we were a good side. But I want to praise your your rugby football league, a passion of mine. In 1934, Jean Gallet took a French team that had never played rugby league and he went to Yorkshire. And thankfully, they made it to the right side of the Pennines when they came to Lancashire in England, my home county. As a result, French Rugby League was formed on the 6th of April 1934. The sport had many trials and tribulations to follow, including being banned and stripped of its assets under the Vichy government. But after the war, the French game was re-established, and French became one of Rugby League's major powers. France was the driving force behind the establishment of the Rugby League World Cup. However, the path of the game of 13 was not easy, so it was fantastic when a professional Rugby League side, Catalan Dragons, joined our Super League. Although it was great to see a French Rugby League blossoming, unfortunately, I fear we have taught you too much on the pitch. The Catalan Dragons demonstrated their prowess in 2018 when they won the Rugby League Challenge Cup, beating none other than my home team, Warrington Wolves, 20 points to 14, before a crowd of 50,000 at Wembley. As they say in France, c'est la vie. There are also feats of engineering which connect us. We all know that 30 years ago, the Channel Tunnel connected the two countries more closely than ever. But our countries also share energy links through the electric interconnectors and the great industrial partnerships such as Airbus. We are truly bound together. So, Mr. President, I welcome you wholeheartedly and hope the cooperation between our countries will continue to flourish. Mr. President, please.
Mr. Prime Minister, Madam, Honourable Ministers, Mr. Speaker, Lord Speaker, Honourable Members of Parliament, Members of the House of Lords, ladies and gentlemen. I would like to thank you, Speaker, for your kind words and greatly appreciate everyone's warm welcome. On behalf of my wife Brigitte and myself and my whole delegation, thank you very much for that. And it is a very great honor to speak before the